there had been some problems, like we were all working on a hippie handshake. There was no contracts involved. I don't know if it was because of Denny Lane's deal with his past manager. I don't know what it was, but we never really got any agreement down on paper. And we were all working on retainers, a very small retainer. I was earning 1/10 of the money that I was used to earning. And I'd given up a really good career in New York. I mean, one of the top bands in the world. And, I borrowed money from the bank on the corner in South Ken to buy myself a used Mercedes convertible, because I got tired of taking cabs, But we weren't living high on the hog. In fact, I used to have to fly back to New York to do some dates and stuff just to be able to pay my American Express bill. And we were doing tours. And after tours, the European tours, we spent so much money on production and everything that we lost money on that tour, sold out tour. So all in all, the money thing started becoming an issue, and I didn't handle it very well. I really didn't handle it very well. And when we left Scotland, Paul kind of pushed Henry into the corner. Henry was a very organic type of musician, and Paul pushed him into the corner one day. He needed to have him knuckle under and play the same part every time, and Henry just wasn't into that. He was a feel kind of guy, and we weren't getting paid right, and and that happened, and Henry says, "Screw this, bollocks, I'm out," and he just pissed off. The next 2 weeks, Denny stayed, and I stayed up there in Scotland too. Denny Lane and his wife Jojo were up there about to have their baby. Paul and Linda were there. And Monique and I went back down to our place in London. And at that time, I kept calling Paul and asking him can't we just put Lagos off for a month and find another guitar player to replace Henry so we can go in there with that band vibe, And he said, no, it's all set. I'm going to go through with this. We'll just do it like we did Rams, a whole bunch of overdubs. And at that point in time, I was saying, I just don't want to take a step back again. The money's not right. I thought about it for a couple of days and just picked up the phone and said, I can't do this either. I'm out of here. And it was really, I regret doing it the way I did, because it came as too much of a surprise to him. He should have known. But it was a big, because he and I were the first two members, like we had that whole other experience that was nothing like Wings, and it was really a mistake on my part, and I regret it to this day. But it was what it was, and that was that. We didn't talk for many years after that. And then we did again. We patched it all up. We became friends, and I stay in touch with him pretty regularly. But yeah, I don't know what it would have been like had I stayed and we grew. But, it was one of those things where my interests were not being looked after, and it became business at that point. That's the trouble with music and making money. When music becomes business, as he learned with the Beatles, and here it was again, I would have thought that after the terrible experience that he'd been through with his mates, that he would make sure that didn't happen to Wings. And when that didn't happen, I made one of those decisions, a life decision that you regret, but hey, you got to live with it.